So it's extremely great pleasure and great honor to be here at the lotus feet of Sri Sri, what do you call it? But Gaurnitai? Nitai Gaurachandra, and to be at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radhakalachandji and the lotus feet of Sri Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Maharani, and to be here at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and to be here with all the wonderful devotees of our Dallas community. It's a very great pleasure and honor for me. So, if I get any closer, I'll eat it. So, we have a very beautiful song to take us to Braj. If your devices are getting signal in here, then please, first of all, put them all on silent, because these little babies have tendency to cry in the middle of the lecture. So everybody put your device on silent, and you can look for Brajajan, Brajajana Mana. Braj with a B as in boy. I don't need it. It'll just Brajajana Mana. Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Mor Mukuta Makara Krita Kundala Gale Vaijanti Mala Mor Muk Charananupura Rasala Radhe Shama Shama Sham Charananupura Rasa Oh Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Oh Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Sundara Varana Kamaladala Lochana Banki Chittavana Hari Sundara Varana Kamaladala Lochana Banki Mohana Bamsi Vihari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Oh Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Oh Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. Sri Radhe Brajajana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham. Vrindavan me Denu Charabe Gopi Jana Manahari Vrindavan me Denu Charabe Gopi Jana Hari Sri Govardhana Dari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Sri Govardhana Dari Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Sri Radhe Brajajanna Manasukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Radha Krishna Miliya Vado Gora Rupa Avatari Radha Krishna Miliya Vado Gora Rupa Avatari Kirtana Dharma Prachari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Kirtana Dharma Prachari Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Sri Radhe Brajajanna Manasukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Sri Radhe Brajajanna Manasukakari Tum bina mere aur na koe Nama Rupa Avatari Tum bina mere aur na koe Nama Rupa Avatari Chadanana me balihari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Chadanana me Narayana Balihari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Narayana Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Oh Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Sri Radhe Brajajanna Manasukakari Radhe Shama Shama Sham Sri Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham Brajajana Mana Sukakari. Brajajan means the residents of Braj. Just like you're all the Dalasjan. Or actually you're all devotees, so you're the Bhaktajan. Brajajana Man. Man means the heart. Brajajana Mana Sukakari, who delights the hearts of all of the Brijvasis. And who is that? Radhe Sham, Shama Sham. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparandigam Aradhanastranandantairidham Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Vadambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So Prabhupada was saying in the introduction that I first met Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles and got initiated there. And then later we were sent to Dallas to open this temple. And we were on 5108 Mission Street. And so then later we were sent to Houston, and then the temple moved to Turtle Creek, and then we came up to Turtle Creek Temple. We only saw it, I think, that one time, or twice, because we went to L.A. We drove out to L.A. to get second initiation from Srila Prabhupada. So there was, at that particular time in ISKCON's history, Prabhupada had been in India. He had gone back to India to recover his health. And then he was getting invitations, and he was going here and going there, and another invitation would come, another invitation would come. So a long time had passed. And Prabhupada, just imagine, he was worried about that we wasted the postage to send our beads there. He kept saying, I'm coming, don't send the beads, I'm coming. Prabhupada was so particular about costs. So I had been waiting for a long time for first initiation, and my wife was waiting for second initiation, and my wife was waiting for first initiation. And there was a few other devotees who had spent a long time waiting and waiting and waiting. His Prabhupada said, I'm just now coming, and then another invitation would come, another invitation would come. So finally he came to L.A. The question came up that some devotees have been waiting for over a year for initiation, so maybe they should get first and second together. And so Prabhupada called them up into his room, and first devotee he asked, who is Krishna? The devotee said, Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, you can take Brahma initiation. And second devotee he asked, who is Lord Chaitanya? He said, most merciful incarnation of Krishna. No, he's Krishna himself. You can take Brahman initiation. And I don't remember what the other devotee, what the question was. And then my wife, he said, well, the husband follows the wife, so husband is getting Brahman initiation, she should also get Brahman initiation. So then there was, Prabhupada gave the lecture, he did the fire sacrifice. And then we were told to wait. This was the old temple room, which is now the Fate Museum. And then there was another room called the Sanctuary, where we had pews and everything. So we were told to wait there, and then Prabhupada would call us up. We said, one by one, you come, and Prabhupada will give you the Gayatri mantra. So then my dear godbrother, now late godbrother, Nanda Kumar, he came down, he said, Prabhupada has to go somewhere, it's very, very important. So you come back at 2 o'clock or something like that. So we came back at 2, then he came downstairs and he said, well, there's something very important has come up, so you come back at 5 o'clock. And our ride back to Dallas was leaving at 3 o'clock. So I told Nanda Kumar, but our car is leaving. So he went up and consulted with Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, send them up. So both of us, we walked up together. We had these, across the street from the temple, they were, I don't know if you know what hydrangeas are. It's a whole group of little flowers in a ball like that. Some of them pink, sometimes bluish. We had these bluish ones like this. There's a big, each one of us had one. There was a big ball of flowers like this. So we came upstairs and we both entered into Prabhupada's room, and immediately Nanda Kumar became very upset. Hare, I told you in the beginning to come one by one. Prabhupada said, they are husband and wife, it is all right. So we offered our flowers to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was sitting behind a desk, big wooden desk, and he was on a big cushion. He looked just like a little cowherd boy sitting on top of this big cushion. And he mentioned us to come around to the side of the desk like this and sit down. And so then Prabhupada showed us, first of all, how to count to 10. He said, you chant each mantra 10 times. He said, you count like this. And then Prabhupada looked at me and he went like this. Because this is what Prabhupada had to deal with. I was coming for Brahma initiation. I shouldn't have a kurta, so he has to put the Gayatri thread. So Prabhupada went like this, and I felt like a fool, pulling off my kurta in front of my spiritual master. And then Prabhupada took the thread and he went zip, 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 like that, and it was open. Even today, sometimes I open it up and it becomes so twisted, I thought, heck with it. But Prabhupada just went blip, 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 like that. And another, just to show you what Prabhupada had to deal with, I had never worn a Brahman thread before, and I didn't know whether to put it this arm or put it this arm, which place Prabhupada was going to place it. And Prabhupada saw my bewilderment, and he just put it like a garland. He just put it like that and said, you can learn from your older god brothers how to wear. And then he said, you chant morning, noon, and night. Then he looked at us both. He said, now you serve Krishna very enthusiastically as husband and wife. And so practically our whole devotional life was like that. I was temple president. She was the head cook and unofficial temple commander. And I don't ever remember having an argument with her. We were always absorbed in Krishna's service. So then, I picked up my kurta and we were backing out of the room, and then I remembered in Nectar Devotion somewhere it says that one should not fail to offer praise in front of the spiritual master. And I said, I didn't say anything, my goodness. What are we going to do? And Prabhupada was already busy on his desk writing something, and we were backing up to the door, and I finally got to the door, and I said, I didn't say anything. Nectar Devotion says, So I said, Jai Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada looked up with one of those smiles, like a million suns have risen in the sky, and he said, Hare Krishna. So that was our Brahman initiation from Srila Prabhupada. So today, actually, we're going to go outside of Braj, because we're sitting here at the lotus feet of Radha Kalachandji. So I wanted to explain where this name comes from. Because this is from Gopal Champu in the chapter about the Leela in Ujjain begins actually from just after Kamsa has been killed and Ugrasen is installed back on the throne and everyone's very happy. And now Krishna and Balaram, they're staying in Mathura, and all the Brishbasis, Nanda Baba and all the Brishbasis went back to Vrindavan. So then Vasudev, he began to notice that Krishna and Balaram, they're used to dealing with Mother Yasoda and Mother Rohini, that Maya, we need this, Maya, we're hungry, Maya, can we go play with the boys, They were like, but they hadn't seen Devaki since they were born, so they didn't know what to do, and they were uncomfortable. And all of a sudden, Vasudev said, "Oh my goodness, we forgot one thing. We forgot to tell Nanda Baba that now that Kamsa is dead, he can send Rohini back. She was staying there in Mathura in Vrindavan for safety, but now she can come home because she's been dealing with him all along. They'll feel more comfortable if Rohini is there." So they sent word to Nanda Baba. When Nanda Baba told this, then Rohini, she was, torn in a great big whirlwind of emotions. She didn't know what to do. Because on one side, how can she leave aside going to see those two beautiful Sham and Gaur Lalas? But on the other side, How can she leave the company of Mother Yasoda, who treated her so kindly? How can she leave Nanda Baba, who treated her so wonderfully? How can she leave? How can, but on the other hand, how could she not go? And she was like this, and Mother Yasoda, understanding her mind, he said, look, you must go immediately. And don't think, we have never maintained any different bhav, that this is your son, that is your son, that is your son, this is my son. You should go there, and feeling yourself non-different from me, you should go there immediately to those two boys. So then an escort came from Mathura, and somehow all the Brishbasis went up to the bank of the Jamuna with Rohini, and somehow she got in the boat and went across, and all the Brishbasis were left. Everybody was crying and crying. And then she got to the other side of the river, and she got out of the boat, and she began walking towards Krishna and Balaram. And suddenly, she began to feel herself that actually, I am Mother Yasoda. And Krishna and Balaram, seeing her, they also saw her as Mother Yasoda. And they ran and they embraced her, and they were so happy, and they came back to Mathura. And then, after this, Vasudeva began to consider that we should perform the Upanayan Sanskar, giving of Brahman initiation. We were just talking about Brahman initiation. So, to these two boys. So, he began to discuss with all the elder Mathuravasis, and they said, yes, this is proper. And he began sending invitations. And Krishna noticed that he didn't invite the Brishbasis, because the Brishbasis, they would feel very, very uncomfortable. And, well, actually all the Mathuravasis, they felt very uncomfortable that Krishna is very attached to these Brishbasis. So they were feeling that, because they had seen, Vasudeva had noticed that whenever Rohini, because she was in Braj, so whenever she talked about Braj, all the Mathuravasis became very upset. And she said, and so she exclaimed that within this universe, there's nothing so wonderful as the love of Sri Krishna. And if that Sri Krishna is also your son, what is the difficulty? Oh, Rohini, why do you talk all these unbecoming things? You stayed with those Brishbasis for too long, and they washed your brain with all this milk and yogurt, and you talk all these funny things. So Rohini became quiet and didn't say anything more. So Vasudeva, noticing how uncomfortable they are talking about the Brishbasis and Krishna's relation, he didn't invite them. And Krishna, he also noticed. And so he went to a person named Sudama. Because in Mathura, anybody who has a name of a friend of his in Vrindavan, they're very, very dear to him. So there was a Mali. We remember he gave Krishna and Balaram garlands. So he went to Sudama Mali because he knew he's very trustworthy. And Krishna and Balaram told him that Vasudeva is arranging our Upanayan Sanskar. And I have understood their conspiracy. By them awarding me the Sanskar, they're going to make me a Kshatriya. And I will become actually their son. But you tell Nanda and Sunanda that, and no third ear should hear this, that we will only, within our hearts, we will only accept Gopatva, a Gopavarn, from Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj should arrange the Upanayan Sanskar of all my friends, Sridham, Stoka Krishna, Sudama, and Raktak, and all the other friends. And seeing them as non-different from me, you should award me Gopatva, cowherd Varn, in this ceremony. So Jiva Goswami says, since the Brishbasis weren't invited, there's no need to talk about the Upanayan Sanskar in Mathura. But in Vrindavan, Nanda and Sunanda, keeping their Krishna and Balaram within their hearts, they awarded the sacred thread to all of Krishna's friends, seeing within them Krishna. In this way, he remained as a cowherd boy. and as the actual son of Nanda and Yasoda. So then, after their Upanayan Sanskar, Vasudeva considered it as proper that now they should go to join the Gurukul, and began discussing who should he accept as Guru. And Krishna and Balaram, they also began to discuss amongst themselves, and they decided there's no one in this world who's more qualified to be our Guru than Srila Vyasadeva. But Srila Vyasadeva is a Param Vaishnava. Knowing us to be Vishnu Tattva, he will feel embarrassed to try to instruct us as a Guru. So better we accept someone who's a Shiva Pasik, a worshipper of Shiva, who won't be able to recognize us. And there's no one better than that person who was born in Kashi. He traveled in Prabhas Kshetra, and now he lives just near Mahakal in Avantipur. He's the best person. He's learned in all the Vedas and all the Vedangas and the Upanishads. He knows everything. He's the most qualified person to become our Guru. So they began to present these decisions to Vasudeva. But Krishna and Balaram told Vasudeva, you should not let anybody know that we've gone to Ujjain. Because as soon as our enemies find out that we're not there in Mathura, they will utilize the opportunity to attack. And the Brijvasis, they're just on the other side of the river there in Gokul, and they're just barely maintaining their lives. If they hear that we've gone so far away, how will they maintain their lives? So you just tell anyone who asks that we're doing a special Ekant Vrat, being by ourselves, in a small kutir in a secret part of Mathura. Don't let anyone know that we've left. So then, seeing Rohini and Devaki were very upset, Krishna told them, look, you shouldn't worry about a thing. If Balaram was with me, then you should know that I have 1 crore of friends. And if I'm with Balaram, you should know that Balaram has 10 crores of friends. So we'll be perfectly all right, Maya. Don't worry about us. And then, considering that now they had taken the vow of brahmacharya, they shouldn't walk, they shouldn't take a vehicle, they decided to go walking. But actually, everyone approaches their lotus feet to cross over this ocean of material existence. So these 4 lotus feet were the actual proper vehicle for them to go to Ujjain, to Avantipur. And along the way, everyone who saw Krishna and Balaram began to discuss amongst themselves, seeing these 2 beautiful Gaur and Sham colored brothers. Everyone began to talk about them in so many ways. This one, he appears to be the Swayam Param Jyoti. And this other one, we can't tell if he's dark or he's light. What is he? We can't tell. And the ladies also went on the roofs to watch these 2 boys as they wandered from village to village. All the ladies would go to the roof and they would discuss amongst themselves that who was that fortunate woman who gave birth to this beautiful Sham Barn little boy. And they began to discuss, and who will be that fortunate woman? Who will be that fortunate girl who will get this Sham Kantwala as her Kant? Kant means husband. So who will be this one? Who will be the lucky lady who gets this Sham Kantwala as her Kant? They were discussing like this, and their ears were tickling so much from talking about Krishna and Balaram like this. Sometimes they had to close their ears. They were feeling so much ecstasy, and Sringar Ras was arising in their hearts. And Krishna and Balaram, they never stayed in the ordinary places where travelers usually stay, in a dharmshala or someone. They always stayed wherever they saw cows or they saw Goshala. They would make their place to stay there. And always beg some milk to drink before continuing on their journey. Finally, they reached Avantipur. And Sandipani Guru was sitting in an assembly of Brahmanas like Brihaspati in the assembly of the stars. Just like now at night, you can see Brihaspati's there in the sky, along with Saturn and Mars, and of course Mercury's not there. Who else is there? Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter, and Venus. They're all in the sky this time, just for like 30 days or so. They're going to be like this. You can see them. And the moon is also there. So there's so many. So he was like it's like Guru. He's a very bright. You'll see a very bright star right over your head. That's Brihaspati. Now the one in the west, that's the evening star. That's Venus. So just like Brihaspati, sounded by the stars, he was sitting there amongst all the Brahmins. And they noticed that Krishna and Balaram had a particular type of Brahmin thread that indicated that they were Kshatriyas. So being intoxicated with their bhav as Brahmins, Sandipani Muni and other Brahmas, they did not stand up when Krishna and Balaram came, because they noticed that they're wearing a certain type of dress and a certain type of Brahma thread that indicated that they were Kshatriyas. And Jiva Goswami explains, but actually this was fine, because if they had stood up, they would have been above Krishna and Balaram, and it's improper for a senior person to be below. It's improper to stand before a senior person. So their Brahminical pride actually made them act perfectly, because Krishna and Balaram were in a higher position. And then Krishna and Balaram, they paid their dandavats, putting the wooden instruments that brahmacharis carry in front of them on the floor, and they paid their obeisances to Sandipani Muni. And they prayed to him that you are very learned in all the Vedas and Vedangas, and please accept us as your disciples. And first of all, this is the part. Then all the Brahmins, they saw Krishna and Balaram coming. They began to talk that this one fellow, he's just like the Swayam Param Jyoti. He's just like the white light himself. But this other fellow, he's just like. Well, they began to describe, actually the clouds of two different seasons have arisen in the sky at once. The blackish clouds of Shravan, which is the first month of the rainy season, have come along with the white clouds of Kartik, of autumn. The white clouds of autumn have come, which is the end of the rainy season. They both come together. And it's almost, they said, just like the sun and the moon have arisen together. But this blackish fellow, he's ruining our comparison, comparison. Because this one fellow, he's as white as a cloud, but the other one, he's just like, the first one, he's just like the sun, he's bright and white. But this other one, he's like the moon, but he's got this blackishness, Kala Chand. He's blackish also. He's got this blackishness. We can't tell whether he's light or black or what he is. So he's Kalachanji. So they were speculating like this. And then they paid their obeisances and begged Sandipani Muni. Sandipani Muni said that my time is very valuable. So if you get my time, then you have to listen very carefully to my instructions. And then he asked their introduction. And Krishna was very clever. He didn't want anyone to know that he was actually the son of Vasudeva, because he didn't want anyone to know that he's out of Mathura. So he said, we are the sons of one Vasu, one jewel of the Yadu dynasty. Jewel means Vasu. We are one Vasu. We're the sons of one Vasu of the Yadu dynasty, one jewel of the Yadu dynasty. So this way they introduce themselves by keeping themselves secret. And Sandipani Muni said, and because you're Brahmins, you're Kshatriyas, we're going to have to curb your natural pride. So tomorrow you will go with the boys and in begging. So then Krishna and Balaram, they went to join the ashram. And they came to the ashram and everyone was very happy to receive them. And then the begging of Krishna and Balaram was quite unusual, because everything turned around. Those who were the beggars became the givers, and the givers became the beggars. How is that? Those whose house Krishna and Balaram were coming to, they began to beg the darshan of these two boys, and Krishna and Balaram, they were giving their darshan to all the householders. And Krishna and Balaram considered that in begging, we may go to someone's house and they may misbehave with us. So better we only go to the houses of our friends. But in begging, one shouldn't keep this type of mentality. So Krishna and Balaram, because Vasudeva sent some Brahmins to go accompany them, they very cleverly did the begging so that the Brahmins couldn't understand that they were only going to the houses of their friends. And wherever they went, they got so much bhiksha. Everyone gave them so many donations. And wherever boys went with them, they also got so many donations. And when they would come back, Sandipani Muni, he would see the bhiksha of Krishna and Balaram, and he would be so enthralled. And with great curiosity, he would go through, and then he would distribute to all the other boys everything with great kotuki. Kotuki means curiosity. Yeah, he was just amused seeing the collections of Krishna and Balaram. Every day, everything went backwards. Those who were the givers became the beggars, and those who were the beggars became the givers. And Krishna and Balaram, whenever they went to the house and only a young girl was there, those young girls would only see them with Matrita Bhav, as feeling themselves as Krishna and Balaram's mothers, and this was proper. In this way, they did their wonderful begging pastimes. And in the school, there were some boys who were very advanced, some who were also new, and some who were intermediate. But Krishna and Balaram, they began to excel everyone in their studies. And Vasudeva, Sandipani Muni, he would teach them one of the Vedas and its Angas in one day. And Krishna and Balaram, they would understand that Veda in one day. In this way, in 4 days, they understood all the 4 Vedas and their Angas. And then Sandipani Muni began to teach them the 64 arts. And the same thing, they learned 64 arts in 64 days. They would learn in the morning and practice, and by evening they were proficient. In this way, they learned the 64 arts in 64 days. And Sandipani Muni was very, very satisfied and very happy. And he was so swept up in affection for these 2 beautiful boys, he couldn't possibly ask them to do any service. But beyond his vision, in other words, behind his back, they would do all types of services for Sandipani Muni. Even they would take the broom and sweep. And Jiva Goswami says, hearing about my Lord taking up the broom, my tongue doesn't vibrate any farther. He cannot talk about this pastime. I'm just amazed. Even my Lord was taking up the broom. So one day, Sandipani Muni's wife, she asked him, amongst your students, who is the best? And Sandipani Muni said, these 2 Gaur and Shamvarn young fellows, they're my best students. Everyone they're passed up. Even the elder students are praising them because they excelled everyone. He said, he gave the example, just like can the swans fly in the sky like Garuda just because they're birds? So just because they're all students, can they equal to Krishna and Balaram? No way. And the amazing thing was that Sandipani Muni, because he was a Shiva Pasik, he couldn't understand their identity. But somehow or other, he understood that these 2 boys, they're the Shrest, they're the best of all persons. So he came to the right conclusion, but still he didn't understand who they were. And everybody knows that Sandipani Muni was the guru of Krishna and Balaram, but nobody knows that Krishna and Balaram were the gurus of Sandipani Muni. Because Sandipani Muni, he had many doubts and deficiency in his knowledge. But by teaching Krishna and Balaram, all knowledge was revealed to him. And it's described just like the rain comes from the ocean, and falls on the mountains and then comes down in the form of streams back to the ocean. Sandipani Muni giving knowledge to Krishna and Balaram was like this ocean of knowledge raining on the mountains and coming back in the streams to the ocean. And Krishna and Balaram at night, they would just lament, "Oh, thou, I can't stay here. I'm going to run away any day. I miss Yasoda and Nanda so much, And even if I try to think, even if I try to think of Yasoda, then immediately Rohini and Yasoda. If I think of Devaki, then immediately Yasoda and Rohini appear in my heart. And if I think of Vasudev, immediately immediately Nanda Baba appears in my heart. And if I try to think of all of our friends in Braj, of all of our friends in Mathura, then all our friends in Mathura, in Braj, stand up inside my mind. I don't know how we're going to do this now. Yeah. And Baldao says, yeah, you're right, Kanaya, it's like that. Every night I feel like I'm going to have to run away back to Braj. It's so, I don't know how we're going to stay here. Yes, Dao. And the other thing is, every night I see this scene, just like we're in the forest of Vrindavan, and it's full moon, and the stars are shining bright, and all the Braj gopis are there, and we're performing the rasa dance. But Tao, it's so real. Even in the morning, when I wake up, I can smell the perfume of the Brajanganas on my angas, on my limbs. I can smell their perfume. So maybe my brahmacharya has become nast, but I'm not doing it on purpose. And anyway, in Gopal Tampani Upanishad, Durvasa Rishi, he says that he tells all the gopis that these two boys are actually your husband. These two boys are actually your husbands. So therefore, I think it's okay. So like this, Jiva Goswami concludes the chapter on Ujjain with this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful leelas. We'll put our voice to rest here. If anybody has some questions, we'll try to answer them. Till what time is class? Oh, 6:20. So what time is it? I can't see. 6:05. Because the next part is Vasudev and, Sandipani Muni. He told all we forgot the one part, the most important part. And it's very interesting. It's Jiva Goswami, he describes it as Krishna and Balaram, whereas we've always read about Sudama and Krishna. But one night, Sandipani Muni's wife, she saw that black clouds were coming in the sky. And she realized all the wood will get wet. Well, how will we cook in the morning? So she began asking all the boys to go to the forest and collect wood right away. But all the boys, seeing that it was dark and the black clouds were forming in the sky, they were all afraid to go. And Krishna and Balaram said, no, we'll go far in the forest because nearby all the good wood is taken. We'll go far in the forest and bring the best wood back. And they ran into the forest and all their friends ran behind them. But seeing that the evening darkness was coming and black clouds were forming in the horizon, they all ran back. And Krishna and Balaram, they went deep in the forest and they got all the best wood in the forest. And finally, it became dark and they lost their ways. Plus, the clouds were clouding out the moon and the stars, and they were unable to see their ways. And it began to pour down rain, and they found a hollow tree. So what did they do? Did they climb inside this hollow tree? No, they put all the wood inside the hollow tree, and they tolerated whatever rain was coming from underneath the tree. And Jiva Goswami says, my tongue cannot describe this Leela any further, how they passed the night. And then in the morning, when Sandipani Muni found out what had happened, and the two boys hadn't really gone deep in the forest and hadn't returned, and there was a huge rainstorm, he scolded his wife. He said, foolish woman, Merk's tree, what have you done? How could you send them out when the storm was coming like this, and without even taking his bath, without even doing his morning worship, without even doing anything? He just ran into the forest, and all the disciples ran behind him, and he wasn't paying attention. So many thorns and thistles were there catching his cloth was becoming ripped and everything. He didn't care for anything. He just was running in the forest. And Krishna and Balaram, from a distance, they saw that Sandipani Muni was coming, and they put their heads down in shame. Why? Because they thought the Sandipani Muni must have heard about our bragging words that we'll bring the best wood back, and we failed in our mission. Now our spiritual masters come to chastise us. And Sandipani Muni arrived there, and he embraced Krishna and Balaram, and tears were flowing from his eyes. It was just like the Samavartana Sanskar, when the child leaves the Gurukula and to go join in householder life. There's a special abhishek called Samavartan Sanskar. So it was just like that. He bathed Krishna and Balaram with his tears, and he said how wonderful it was to have such disciples as his. And he blessed Krishna and Balaram that may all knowledge appear within your hearts. And he took them back to the ashram and had them bathe and dressed properly. So somehow Jiva Goswami describes this in relation to Krishna and Balaram. I don't know why, but anyway, I'll have to find some learned devotee who knows the answer about this. But anyway, that's how he describes it in Gopal Champu. And then the question of Dakshina came up, and Gopal Sandipani Muni had lost his sons. So he wanted so much that he would get his sons back. So Krishna and Balaram, they went off to bring back to the ocean to bring back Sandipani Muni's sons. And it's very beautiful description. It describes that when they saw the ocean, Krishna began to describe that how the ocean, he doesn't have any hands, but he's waving at us. And he's coming down, so he's paying his obeisances to he was telling to Balaram, he's paying obeisances to you. And he doesn't have any offerings, but so many beautiful white flowers he's offering at your lotus feet. And he doesn't have any voice to praise you, but he's making wonderful sounds. The water is making wonderful sounds to praise you. In this way, beautiful description is there, how they finally receive back the sons of their guru, Sandipani Muni, and they bring them back to Avantipur. A very, very wonderful chapter is there in Gopal Champu by Srila Jiva Goswami. So anyway, now we'll ask if anybody has any questions or comments, arguments. Yes? So how long have you been here? I'm surprised to see you here. This is old Brishvasini.
Yeah, I've been here since, like a year and a half.
Acha.
Yeah. So Prabhupada, I heard that Sandipani Muni's wife is Purnamasi and the son is Madhu Mangal. Is that?
No, Sandipani Muni's mother is Purnamasi.
Okay. Oh yeah, she's the grandmother.
So she's the grandmother.
But the
and
son,
she came to after when Nanda Maharaj was living in Gokul, she came there and she had a long white jyoti, and she was wearing saffron cloth like a sadhvi, and all the Brishvasis, they had too much respect for sadhus and sadhvis. You can wander around Braj anywhere you want to. You just say Radhisham Madhukari, Hari Bol, Roti Do, and you get nice rotis and sag and dal and so many nice things, and kheer. You get such Brishvasi kheer. Sometimes we go to our devotees' houses and we get kheers like there's some rice, swimming in the milk. But Brijvasi kheer is so thick, you don't even need a bowl, you don't even need a katora, you just put it right on the patal. Pah. It's so delicious. And I talked to many sadhus, they said there's no other place like Braj. You can't do that just anywhere. It's like in Bengal, if you try that, everybody's fish eaters. So therefore, that's my theory why the Gaudiya Math is broken up, because you can go to any Gaudiya Math immediately if you're there, prasad time, come, you take, get nice prasad. You can go there, you go here, you go there, you can go anywhere and get nice prasad. But sadhu told me there's no place like Braj. You can just wander around and take prasad from anyone, because so wonderful place. So immediately all the Brishvasis, they came and they bowed down before her. And they asked, who are you? And from where have you come? And what is it that you desire? And she said, I'm coming from Avantipur, and I'm the mother of Sandipani Muni, and these are my grandchildren, Madhumangal and Nandimukhi. And I'm very expert in Jyotish. Now, you know Jyotish. Jyoti means light. So Jyotish means studying the light coming from the stars and from the planets. I'm an astrologer. I'm very expert in astrology. And I have seen that very soon Nanda and Yasoda will get a son. She said, I have calculated that very soon Nanda and Yasoda will get a son. And that's a whole other subject matter that we'll save for another day. Also there in Gopal Champu and Ananda Vrindavan Champu, how Krishna and Mother Yasoda had twins, Krishna and Durga. They're both, because Durga is known as Krishnanuja. So she can't be the younger sister unless she's born from the same womb. So Mother Yasoda gave Gopal Champu and Ananda Vrindavan Champu how describes how from Mother Yasoda's heart came this beautiful blackish boy. From her womb came this beautiful girl. So anyway, she told that very soon Nanda and Yasoda will get a son. And I want to see that, so you please make a little grass hut for me on the bank of the Jamuna so that I can see this event with my own eyes. So they made a little place for she told my name is Purnamasi and I come here from Bantu. Anyway, so they made a little place for her to stay. So she was the mother. So Purnamasi is the mother of Sandipani Muni.
And how does Madhu Mangal end up in Vraj? How does Madhu Mangal end up in Vraj? How does Madhu Mangal, Sandipani Muni's son, right? How does he end up going from Ujjain to Vraj and staying in Vraj?
How did he came with along with Nandimukhi, along with his grandmother.
So they just went there because they knew Krishna was coming and they just stayed? So they went because they knew Krishna was coming soon and they just went and stayed there?
Yeah.
And that was it.
She calculated that very soon Nanda Yasoda will get a son, so I want to see that. She knows what's happening. Therefore, though Madhumangal is Krishna's friend, he's not a Gopa, he's a Brahmin.
We've got one question here in the front and then Mother Sucharya at the back.
Deenabandhu Prabhu, thank you so much for visiting our yatra here. I wanted to ask you the question, were you here when Prabhupada installed Radhakala Chanji?
Nope. Like I said, I went from shortly after establishing, the temple was there in Mission Street, and then they wanted me to go help with Houston temple, so I was sent to Houston. We were both sent to Houston. And we only saw Turtle Creek Temple coming from LA and going to LA and coming back from LA. Just a couple of days we saw. One day we spent the night, and the next day we went to Houston. And on the way we came from Houston to Dallas, we spent the night and drove to, because those days, now we fly around the world like money was water or something, but those days we drove all the way to LA. All right. No, yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Deenabandhu
Yes.
Prabhu, my obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So you were speaking about the 64 arts of the gopis and how, or the 64 arts and how Krishna and Balaram learned them from Sandipani Muni. And I just wanted to ask, have you heard that room conversation that Srila Prabhupada gives about how he's requesting his disciples to please start a college, and that the 64 arts of the gopis should be taught, and that the devotees should ask the life members in Bombay because they know all the 64 arts. I just wondered if you could add something to this or explain
I never heard
it.
this. I missed this conversation somehow.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Deenabandhu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I think a lot of us have heard about you from the internet in Vrindavan.
Well, if you heard anything good, it's totally false. Anything bad you heard on the internet is 10 times worse.
Then I don't think we've heard anything about you. I wanted to ask, maybe in line with the previous questions, what you feel in Dallas has remained the same from 1978. What has changed? Any reminiscing, any memories or nostalgia that could inspire us as a congregation from your time here?
I know. I feel that my experience here, everyone is very enthusiastic, and it was just like the old days. We were all very enthusiastic, and we've had the devotees have treated us with such love and affection. We just feel like the old days here. Of course, that time we were just in a small duplex. 5108 Mission Street is a duplex, and we were in the bottom half. Some students from SMU lived on the upper half, and it was a very strange ecological arrangement because their parties would be taking off and we were taking rest. And when we were getting up for Mangal Artik, they would come stumbling up the walk from partying all night to take rest. And so to come here and see this beautiful temple with a beautiful carved wooden columns and beautiful Kalachandji, so because our deity was a picture of Krishna convincing Nanda Baba not to worship Indra and to worship Govardhan Hill, and you see the hill, and it's an old picture in the number 1 Krishna book, and Nanda Baba is there. Move that. Nanda Baba is there, and Krishna is there, and he's convincing Nanda Baba not to worship Indra, worship Govardhan instead, and that was our deity in 5108 Mission Street. I don't remember what we had in Turtle Creek because I never spent any time here, so I don't remember anything from Turtle Creek. But one time I told about this was our deity, and there was a devotee, Kardama Muni, and he had a workshop. We just saw from Prabhuji's house there that he had a workshop there. And he said, "Come with me after the class." And we went to his workshop, and there was that picture in his workshop. And he said, "This is a picture?" I said, "Yes, that's the picture." He had found it in a pawn shop in Oklahoma City, because after the farm collapsed there in Oklahoma, somebody had just pawned it off to a pawn shop. So he bought it and had it in his workshop. When the devotees found out this was the original deity of Dallas Temple, now it's in Prabhupada's rooms, I think, here. They keep it in Prabhupada's rooms. So anyway, I just feel everybody's very enthusiastic here. I'm so happy to see all the devotees serving and taking care of us so sweetly. We wish somehow Houston Temple was very greedy. Unfortunately, we told them you divide the time up, so they were partial to Houston. No, we wish we had spent, we come a little bit later, but anyway, we're here. And we have our We have our latest book with us. Brajlila Part 2, Giriraj, Part 3, excuse me. I'm so ecstatic being here with all of you. This is Brajlila Part 3, Giriraj, the King of Mountains. And Brajlila and Brajlila 1 and 2 have maybe 10 or 12 pictures in them. But since everybody loves Arjun Bhattacharya's wonderful pictures, we decided to make it a picture book. So it's got 284 pictures of I can't even hold it. Of every place you could ever imagine on Govardhan Hill. We spent several years working on this. We investigated different literatures, especially Braj Bhakti Vilas. Braj Bhakti Vilas gives all the mantras and talks about all the places of the whole of Braj. So we got this chapter about Govardhan, and he talks about places and gives the mantras for those places, but nobody knows where they are. Even in 500 years, some places have been lost. So this book, at least whatever we could find, is here in this book, so that there's a record of whatever places are there on Govardhan. Unfortunately, we shipped several boxes to Houston, but they all disappeared before we got here, so this is just our sample book. But it's available on Amazon. It's quite expensive, but it's there as a Kindle for $10. And our, what is it? Daoji Nitai, he's taking orders, so we can send, a box or two here if anybody wants a copy. We're only, because in Amazon they have to print it right on the spot, digital printing in one time. So it's quite expensive, but we're only asking donation of $25 for this book because we, offset printed it in Delhi. So if anybody wants to get a copy, we'll send a couple of boxes to our Daoji Nitai. So, and 530 pages of nectar. And like you said, every place, except there's one place I've always seen on Prikama, and I never found out anything about it. And there's just one big kund. It never has water in it. And I call it Cricket Kund because all the Brishbazi boys are playing cricket in it. Because it's quite a large kund, but it's never water in it. And I never, I couldn't find any authorized information about it, so it's Cricket Kund. One time, we were doing, my wife and Lakshmi Moni brought all the girls from the Vaishnava Academy for Girls in Alatra. And my wife said, they want you, they had been to Mayapur, then they went to Puri, so it was quite a ways into April when they came. So by April, it's getting very hot. It's 100 degrees every day. I guess it's I only know it's 40, So it's 40 degrees centigrade, and even more. So I said, there's no way I can do it, and no way they're going to do it. But if you really want to go on Govardhan Prikama, we can do it at night. It'll be AC first class. So we went, my wife said that the girls, they'll be in ecstasy. He said, they really hate to get up early in the morning, but they just love to stay up late at night. They'll all be in ecstasy. And it was like that. It was nice, cool breeze was blowing. It wasn't that far from a full moon, so there was quite a bit of light to see the way. And we did wonderful prikam. We got to Surbikund. And Surbikund is a little ways off the path. And you go inside, and the whole universe just disappears. And it's so quiet. And I just say, everyone, just be quiet and listen to the sounds of the forest. So all the girls were quiet, and all we heard was, pam, 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 brap, 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 pam, pam, brap, 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 brap. And I looked at Lakshmi Moni, and she looked at me, and she said, Pakistan lost. Just at that moment, the news had come. And that's I was wondering why nobody's on Prikrama. Because it was very empty, although it wasn't that far from full moon. Nobody was on Prikrama. And then I realized, oh yeah, everybody's watching the cricket game. How long, bhajan? All right. Okay, so Lala, but he wants me to do a little bhajan before Gaurati.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we'll make some announcements, and then we'll have another bhajan by Deenabandhu Prabhu. So everybody could please remain seated. If everybody could please remain seated. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's not stand up for darshan yet. If you could please sit, Prabhu. Thank you. Otherwise, everybody will start coming to stand up the front. If we could scoot up 2 or 3 feet, please, for the devotees that are at the back, but please stay seated, and then we'll stand up shortly for Arti. So I just want to, again, thank His Grace Deenabandhu Prabhu for the wonderful class. Deenabandhu Prabhu, for those that weren't here at the beginning, started his Krishna conscious journey in 1969, and he was initiated in 1970, and he opened the first temple in Dallas. So he helped to open the first temple in Dallas with a group of devotees on 5108 Mission Street. So we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Deenabandhu Prabhu. He lives full-time in Sri Vrindavan Dham, and as he's been here visiting, he keeps making the wonderful point that Srila Prabhupada has revealed the Dham to us. He's the one that has opened the Dham to us, and he's given us these wonderful sons like His Grace Deenabandhu Prabhu and his daughters that are helping us all to try to become Krishna conscious. So please take advantage of this wonderful book that he's selling. You can go on Govardhan Parikram by reading this book and seeing these beautiful pictures. And Dauji Nitai Prabhu can take your orders again if you would like to order the book. So let's give Deenabandhu Prabhu a big Hari Bol. Hari Bol!